Chairman Reince Priebus, congratulations, big night.
Yeah, it was a big night, and I think it was a very historic night, not just because we won the United States Senate, but that so many Republican governors were sort of affirmed tonight. And I think that's another big story, that Republicans were affirmed both to go to Washington and replace Democrats, and incumbent governors were affirmed at home. So the policies are accepted, and the policies of Obama were rejected.
You surprised by the sweep of the victory?
You know, I thought it was going to be a big night, but I guess I'm a little surprised that it was as big as it was. I thought that we would have a good night. I thought it would be kind of hard fought. I expected it to take a little bit longer, but it didn't. And I was just very pleased with how our governors did, and my friend Scott Walker. I got to tell you, no matter what happened tonight, if Scott wouldn't have won, it would not have been a good night for me.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. I know you're close to Scott Walker. It's your home state. He does pull it out right there. Does he have the White House in his sights?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure he's going to look at it, and he'd be, crazy not to at least look. I think anyone in that position thinks about things like that. But I think Scott's very much committed to being governor of Wisconsin, and we'll just wait and see what God has in store for him and other people out there looking at it.
You're going to be one of the people called upon to perhaps mediate in this intra-party squabble among Republicans about how to handle the Senate, how to handle President Obama in these final 2 years, whether to be to look for areas of cooperation, whether to be confrontational. What's your advice?
My advice would be go take the 350 bills that we've been talking about that are sitting on Harry Reid's desk, bring them over to the president and say, hey, which one of these bills are you interested in helping us get done? I mean, that's a start, right? One of them is the Keystone Pipeline. Many of them are things that Republicans and Democrats have supported in the House. So, most of these things are not controversial, but I think that would really help our economy and people getting back to work. So that's one place to start. And the second thing, George, is that, go ahead, sorry.
No, you go ahead. Keep going.
The other thing is that you can pass a budget in the Senate without the president. So, I mean, you can get the House and the Senate to pass budget parameters. You don't need the president to do that. So I think that's another thing that gives stability and some vision for where our country's going if we can get a budget passed.
You're also going to have to start to herd a huge field of potential presidential candidates in 2016. I think one of the things we're all going to be looking at over the coming days is how different this electorate tonight was from a potential presidential electorate. Does that concern you?
No, I think we've come a long way in the last 2 years of getting our hands around our primary system, which I think is a total disaster. And I've said that, I'm not pulling any punches. I think a 6-month slice and dice festival in our party is a joke. And we're shrinking that calendar down to about 60 to 70 days, so it's going to be quick. And I'm trying to get a good handle on our debates and how we operate in our debate system, and make sure that obviously media outlets have a say in how things are done, but also that our candidates have a say as well. So, striking that balance is important, because we just can't have another circus like we had in 2012.
Well, that's all for the future. Enjoy your victory tonight, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, George. Afaristo.
I'm Paracolo.